A little girl came home completely drenched, her legs and feet covered in mud. She greeted her mother, who was chopping vegetables in the kitchen, but instead of responding, her mother's face suddenly turned horrified. The girl had been dead for 7 days, but every night at 10 p.m. she would come home like clockwork. Seeing no response from her mother, Jenny walked towards her room, glancing back at her mother before closing the door. Her terrified mother huddled under the table, slowly looking towards Jenny's room. Jenny was staring straight at her through the crack in the door. 10 days ago, Jenny waited for her mother to pick her up after school as usual, but even after a long time, her mother never came, and her phone went unanswered. As it started to rain, Jenny decided to walk home. Halfway there, a black car pulled up beside her. It was Jack, a neighbor from downstairs. Without thinking much, Jenny got into the car. They quickly arrived at the front door of their building. Just as Jenny was saying goodbye and turning around, Jack suddenly dragged her into his own apartment. Jenny was helpless, with her own home just out of reach, and was brutally killed by Jack. When the police found her, Jenny had been stuffed into a suitcase and dumped in the middle of nowhere. After the news broke, the vivid red suitcase caught the attention of a luggage store owner. A strange man had purchased that type of suitcase from his store just a few days prior. The owner was about to call the police, but his wife stopped him, worrying it would affect their business. After careful consideration, the owner decided not to report it. That day, the community security guard came to Jack's door, accusing him of littering and complaining about the stench. Jack claimed it wasn't his trash, but the guard insisted on opening the bag to confront him. Jack seemed to suddenly remember something, but it was too late. Inside the bag was a girl's school uniform with Jenny's name tag. The guard was stunned, but when he looked up, Jack had a sinister smile on his face. Jack went back to the luggage store to buy another suitcase. The owner recognized him as the murderer and became extremely nervous, raising Jack's suspicions. Little did the owner know, he would be the next victim. That night at 10 p.m., the lock turned again. The woman was shaking uncontrollably, but this time, it was Jenny's father who entered. The woman told her husband about the strange events, but he thought she was talking nonsense. He pulled her to Jenny's room and opened the door, but there was nothing inside. This movie is called The Neighbor. If you're interested, you can check out the original film.